You don't like yours?
I do?
Oh, with that, yeah.
Yeah.
These are just a little more functional.
Good morning and welcome to the joint Minnehaha County Commission City of Dell Rapids meeting for May 20th, 2025. I will call the meeting to order and note for the record that we have a quorum of Minnehaha County Commissioners present. All four are here. One is present telephonically, Commissioner Benninga. Before we get started, just a reminder, silence your cell phone. It's a good idea if I check my own. And I'll turn it over to Marcia.
Thank you. Finance Officer, please call the roll.
Schmidt,
Here.
Hein, Nelson, Jones, Ronsagen,
Here.
Cavagelli,
Here.
Rusink,
Here.
Hanslick,
Here.
Mayor Simmons.
Here.
All right, thank you, Mayor Simmons. I'm going to ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, look for a motion to approve our agenda from the county.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
All right. No, I think I was supposed to do a roll call vote. Do we need to back up and do a roll call? We're good? Okay. Haven't been here in a couple weeks. All right. First item of regular business is a public hearing to consider non-identical conditions of approval by the joint Minnehaha County and Dell Rapids City Planning Commission for temporary use permit number 2503 to allow a temporary asphalt plant. Morning, Kevin.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Hookman from the County Planning Department. Yes, so this is an application for a temporary use, which is for a temporary asphalt plant located at the Northeast Tract 1 of Section 17-104-49 of Dell Rapids Township. This would be just to the south of Dell Rapids in the quarry. The site plan indicates that the project will be near the center of the parcel and adjacent to the railroad, and I'll show you a photo of that here soon. So the process for a temporary use application would be that staff sends out letters, and if there's an objection received, then it goes to the Planning Commission. An objection letter was sent to staff, was received from the neighboring property owner. And a public hearing was held between the joint planning commissions on April 28th of this year. Both planning commissions approved the temporary use, but the conditions of approval were not the same. Therefore, the joint county board and city council must reconcile the conditions. Staff began the presentation with 8 conditions of approval recommended. At the hearing, a 9th condition for outdoor lighting was suggested by staff due to another neighbor who was concerned about lighting at the quarry. Then the final condition requiring an odor-reducing additive was adopted by Dell Rapids Planning Commission only, and the County Planning Commission did not adopt that condition. So in the memo that was provided for everyone, the listed conditions that were approved, 1 through 9 are listed, and then the 10th condition that was approved only by the Dell Rapids Planning Commission is also separated from the group. So I will scroll down and show the site a little bit here. So the overall site is on this parcel of what's known as the West Quarry. The railroad track runs right through here. And this is the site plan provided by the applicant, which shows the location of the temporary asphalt plant right kind of in the middle of the property. The nearest neighbor is almost a half mile away, about 2,000 feet away right here, kind of across the street. So the Minnehaha County Commission and Del Rapids City Council can reconcile the conditions of approval, or they can amend the temporary use permit, or they can deny the temporary use permit 2303, and I am here for any questions.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. So this is a public hearing. We will take proponents for the application first. Is there anybody here to speak as a proponent for the plant? No? Okay. How about opponents? Do we have any opponents to the plant?
Hello, everybody. I'm here representing Susan Fisher,
Sir, I need your name too, please.
Roger Paplow.
Thank you.
Her address is 24619 River Road, Del Rapids, South Dakota 57022. She wrote out a paper that I think everybody has. He was going to hand
We
that
have
out.
2 letters from Ms. Fisher, yes.
And I really don't have anything else to say, but I would like to have Kevin read it out loud. And that's pretty much covers everything. That's why she doesn't want the wind out of the east blowing towards the home place there.
I don't see why it would be necessary to, I mean, we all have the letter. I mean, unless a commissioner or counselor.
I just want to have it read out loud so that everybody can, you know, I am not saying that everybody's illiterate, but I just like to have it read out loud.
There's 2 letters, sir. Which letter?
The one that's notarized.
The first one. I believe that's the first
That's
one.
the only one that's notarized. That's why I got it notarized, because I want to make it official.
Okay, and appreciate that. So,
That's all I have to say.
a little unusual request, sir. So I will read the letter if that's okay.
That's just fine, yes.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
So this letter was received from Miss Susan Fisher of River Road in Del Rapids. It's addressed to whom it may concern and dated May 16th. I'm sorry I cannot come to this meeting, but Roger Paplow is speaking on my behalf. My main concern is the plant is running when the wind is from the east. We live in the sort of a hollow with the hills on our northwest and south. So with an east wind, the smell and pollutants would come right to us and stay. I have emphysema and other health issues that this would make it worse. My pulmonologist advised me that my symptoms would worsen and possibly affect the cancer too. Thank you, Susan Fisher, and it is notarized and dated May 16th. Okay.
Thank you, Dean.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone want to address or rebut the comments by the opponent? Or I guess, are there other opponents to the request for conditional use? I'm sorry? So if you'd like to come up to address the concerns of the opponent, now's your opportunity. Just please identify yourself, sir.
Morning, I'm Shane Carlberg. I do the environmental and the safety for Central Specialties. We have the asphalt plant. We're out of Alexandria, Minnesota.
Okay.
Main reason we're here today is, of course, the smell. Wind doesn't normally come out of the east or blow to the east during the summer months, so that should be good. But it was requested that we add a low odor additive to the asphalt to, of course, reduce the odor. That the highway department was looking into with the state DOT. We don't know if it's an approved item to be able to use in the mix design. North Dakota it is not, so I don't know if South Dakota will be the same. But if it is, that's a pretty significant add-on in cost, looking at between $30,000 and $60,000 to add that. So my argument then was, like, if it was going to be that significant of a cost, it should be written into the rule book beforehand so that it can be bid appropriately. Other than that, we'll only be running for a week and a half to 2 weeks. So it'll be a short time frame. There's only about 6,500 ton in there. So it won't be a long time that the asphalt plant is running. And I think that's what I got to say about that. The other conditions were easy enough to abide by.
Okay. Any other comments from proponents? I'm going to turn it over to questions from the commission and council. All right. Any counselors or commission members have questions of either the applicant or the opponent to the plant?
I just have one quick question. You mentioned this low odor additive. What type of health concerns come with that additive in comparison to any health concerns that would come with not using it?
Personally, well, as a company, we've never used it, and we called around, we don't know of anybody else that's ever used it. Some of the research I did, it changes with each company that makes it. Personally, I wouldn't want to add another chemical to the mix to be blowing out into the air personally for the air issue. But I can't say one way or the other. There isn't a whole lot of studies that have been done on it. So I don't have a straight answer for you, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Commissioner Blankenberg?
Thank you. Could you just clarify for me? I think I heard you say 1.5 to 2 weeks, and in the operation plan, I read most jobs would last 3 to 6 weeks, and I guess I read that to mean 3 to 6 weeks multiple times throughout the year?
Right, no. So the 3 to 6 weeks would be how long the job would take. Dirt work, prepping the site, getting it all set up. So we would want the permit for that time frame, depending on when we have the base ready for the mix. And then the asphalt plant will only run for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, depending on weather. Maybe it'd go faster.
Okay,
We had a
thank
real
you.
nice dry time frame.
I guess I have a general question. I don't know if it's for you or P&Z, but I was telling some of the folks before, I lived in Aberdeen years past, and I lived a handful of blocks from a permanent asphalt plant that was in the middle of town. So planning and zoning, obviously, across the state has put these plants up in the middle of residential. I guess I've never heard of concerns like widespread or any kind of health concerns regarding these plants. Is there any, is that something standard or normal? I guess maybe because there's plants in Sioux Falls. Maybe that's a question for P&Z. Like I hear the concern is health concerns. To me, it's more of an issue of potential odor nuisance. Am I wrong?
So there's been a lot of studies done on asphalt plants and cement plants, both, just because of that concern is so widespread. And from our point of view, from the studies that we've looked into and that the asphalt associations have done, there's a very low pollution or health risk associated to the plants. People see the quote-unquote smoke that comes out of the stacks, and it's not a smoke. It's actually steam as it's heated up and getting the water out of it, in layman's terms. So our guys are trained, they go to school, a school through South Dakota, through North Dakota, called smoke school. And if anything is coming out of that stack that isn't steam, they're taught to see it. It comes out as a blue smoke, and we shut the plant down immediately. 2 reasons, because that's burning something that shouldn't be burnt, and 2, it's causing an issue with the asphalt. So the asphalt has to be retested, approved by the state, and used or not used. In my time frame with the company for about 6 years, we've never had the issue. It's just something that we go to school to watch. And then, like I was saying, all the studies that have been done, not a whole lot of pollution. And then our plants are regulated through the state of Minnesota, which are very high regulations. And every few years, we have to have our plants professionally tested by a third party to make sure that we're not causing pollution. So there's a lot of ins and outs and a lot of permits and very expensive testing to go through to make sure we're not polluting the air.
Thank you. I appreciate that clarification. And I guess on a side note, in my personal experience, again, having lived in like a much closer proximity for many years to, I thought a lot about this, and I never once in my recollection had an issue with the odor nuisance side of it, is my personal experience. So
I've lived in Alexandria for 20 years. We've got 2 asphalt plants that are permanent right on the outside of town. And I didn't know they existed until I started working here, honestly.
Kevin, can I bring you up for a question? I just want to understand what we're doing here today. So we have 2 things. We have an opponent to the 10 days or 2 weeks that this asphalt plant would be operating. And we also have that 10th condition that was approved by the Dell Rapids Planning Commission, but not the County Planning Commission. So we're, 1, deciding, do we grant the permit? And 2, do we grant it with or without that low odor additive? Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
I just want to encapsulate what we're here to talk about today and what we're trying to
So is that
decide.
2 separate motions that we need to make? Or can we make a
I think
motion
you could
to
make a
approve?
motion for approval without the 10th condition. So, any other questions? Motions?
I guess I would make, if, it doesn't matter if the county or the city goes first.
It doesn't, but if I could ask a quick question. So my understanding is the contract was bid without that additive that's going to increase the cost significantly. And you're saying you could not perform meet the contract specs because a new condition was met. It probably would have to be rebid. Is that potentially, I'm looking to legal or the highway department? I'm going to bring up our highway superintendent, because if we're putting a requirement down there that wasn't in the contract, how can they meet that requirement if they can't bid that?
Sure. So we want to create as fair of a bidding environment as we can with all of our projects. So knowing
Jacob,
what's-
if you'd identify
Oh,
yourself.
sorry. Yes, Jacob Mars with the Highway Department. We want to create as fair of a bidding environment as we can with all of our projects, so we get good competitive bids. This is a component of construction we would call means and methods. So it's up to the contractor to locate where their plant is going to be and figure out what the regulations are in that area. The timing of the permit for this particular location and city didn't make it possible to get the permit before the bid. We wouldn't end up rebidding the project, because it's ultimately up to the contractor to determine where the plant is going to be based on conditions in the area. But it would create a more competitive and fair bidding environment in the future if this information was known beforehand.
Okay. I don't know if I fully understand that
Say-
explanation.
Further question, Tim?
Yes.
So does that mean that the contractor is out the amount of that additive?
That would be my opinion. They're welcome to ask and negotiate, but at the end of the day, it's up to the contractor to locate their plant. We don't specify where the asphalt has to come from. There's a couple of companies in town that could buy it from if they wanted to, but it's up to the contractor to figure that part out.
So it sounds like that they probably are out that amount.
And Mr. Chair, I can add some color from the planning commission level. This was some of the concern of the county planning commission at the preceding meeting, was that are we setting a new precedent? Are we changing the rules of the game midstream, that we just want to be conscious of? Some of the technicalities, I appreciate the highway superintendent bringing that up, but I think just what is the business environment and how do we set those expectations? I think some of our counterparts on the Dell Rapids Planning Commission had some recollection of, in a prior summer, a temporary asphalt plant had this additive and kind of had the sentiment of, wouldn't this be nice to have? And we didn't have really definitive testimony at the Planning Commission level of if it would increase the cost or whatnot. So I think there was just a disconnect between all other things being equal, it'd be nice to have odor reduction. But now that I think we've had some more testimony and brought full facts to the table, that this would throw off this project, add costs. And again, we're back to, I think, sharing some sentiments with a colleague from Dell Rapids that this is a temporary use that is not going to cause much for an odor nuisance in the location that it's given. That's kind of my contribution to this, and I'll support a motion affirming the 9 conditions and not adding that 10th would be my sentiment.
So I'm looking for a motion either from the city council or the county commission.
Yeah, I guess I would make the motion to approve removing the 10th.
So you're making a motion to approve the permit without the 10th?
Without, yes, correct.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, further discussion? I'll let you call the roll.
Finance officer, call the roll.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Rontagen,
Yes.
Cavagelli,
Yes.
Rusink,
Yes.
Hanslick,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, look for a motion from the commission.
I'll make the motion to concur with the Dell Rapids City Council.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Kipley,
Aye.
Heisey,
Aye.
Bleinberg,
Aye.
Benega,
Aye.
Karski.
Aye. Commissioner Benega, I apologize. I forgot to ask if you had any questions. Good to hear from you, though. Motion carries. All right, we are at the opportunity for public comment. Would anybody like to address this joint body on any non-agenda item? All right, look for a motion from the county to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those, I guess I got to call the roll on this. Call the roll.
Bleinberg,
Aye.
Kipley,
Aye.
Benega,
Aye.
Heisey,
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries.
We'll do the same. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, or call the roll, I guess?
Schmidt,
Yes.
Rontagen,
Yes.
Cavagelli,
Yes.
Rusink,
Yes.
Hanslick,
Yes.
motion passes.
Yes, we're adjourned.